So I guess I just finally have to just be honest with myself that so this social media is just my mind, my thoughts. Okay. Meaning that when I'm looking at social media, what I'm actually seeing is, especially when I'm watching these shorts, I'm just seeing a roll of curated content that is being presented to me according to my own thinking, meaning that my thoughts are synchronizing and impacting the videos that I'm watching. Okay, meaning that shorts or social media using features like shorts can in fact be a weaponized, targeted tool geared towards pumping a particular curated, customizable, personalized content, just like artificial intelligence, right? So my shorts roll, whatever it is, this roll of shorts that I watch continuously are literally my thoughts. And they are in sync with my thoughts. So negative thinking feeds me more of the same kind of negative videos. Positive thinking feeds me more of the same kind of positive videos. But not just that. It seems even when I'm having positive thoughts, sometimes I get negative videos. Meaning it may not just be in sync with my thought, but it could just mean that it's being weaponized to agitate thought. It's being weaponized to trigger thought. It's being weaponized to trigger emotion, to manipulate emotion. Meaning, if I'm an individual that lives in a particular corner of town, all you need is the demographic, the very basic demographic of the individual that has the phone, and then you can curate a lifetime volume of whatever kind of content you want to curate through all their social media feeds. And you can literally predict the person that will come out the other end. Why? Because they ate the diet that you had established for them and have fed them through these specific channels and through a calculative, again, prescribed almost to the precision of a chemist prescribing antiseptic or any kind of medication to a ill patient. You curate, you aggregate, you collect, and so for instance, I give you an example. I have an addiction, pornography, and I love porn. You know, I like to watch it. It's a great escape. I mean, it's just one of the greatest pastimes. You know, some men have gym, some men have like preaching. I have porn. Some men have a life. I have porn, nigga. You feel me? I watch that shit and it gets me through my fucking pathetic ass reality. And because I watch a lot of porn, my channels, I get this content, you know, this content is women with fat asses. Now, don't get me wrong, I go looking for women with fat asses online to see and to jerk off. But women with fat asses, as my thoughts alter, the content changes slightly. And then sometimes it's all about my awareness. The more aware you are of your feed and your content, the more you can see that it is okay. If I know that there are X billion or X million or X thousands of people residing in a particular area, and I know that each of them can get each of them, first of all, and this is the reason why cellular phones are moderated and curated, especially in the United States of America. Part of the reason why the Americans or the Americas is a kind of a society as it is deemed to be is because America mastered the ley lines, and they mastered the art of monitoring brain waves and thought waves. Therefore, Americans are at all times, especially the United States of America, cannot speak for Canada or the South. The United States of America is at all times very, very cognitive, or aware rather, of their population, the means of communication at which the population is using. That means each individual member of the society at every given point within the society and what they're using as a tool to communicate to the internet. They know how many individuals are dialed in online. Remember, once upon a time, the internet, as it was in the age of American Online, was something that required a dial tone or some means of connecting in. Now, just because these processes have been compressed in that we don't notice the time, the buffering, the periods that takes between that connection to happen, does not mean that there isn't a connectivity or a connection taking place. You know that all the mobile phones within this country are of X number of providers, let's say 6 or 7 or 5. You know that every single phone has a serial number, 2. You know that every single phone has to connect to a tower in order to get online, and every single phone is tethered to the provider, 3, 4. It isn't like an African system where there are gazillion number of phones and a multiplicity of providers, and oftentimes people get lost in the usage process because often people use it through, there are many offline-like processes that people go through to connect online without necessarily being bound to a provider. In America, on the other hand, one must be bound to a provider, meaning every call is noticed, every call, every complete sound that a citizen of America utters is recorded and stored somewhere in a data file and would be used against you when necessary. Not that it's always going to be used against you. The details of the Epson files may never be revealed. However, if one of the members of this Epsonian experience ever rises to project their head like a cobra above the waters, so to speak, if one of them ever became cocky enough, including a Gates, to say and or do something to shake a system beyond, so long as a system deems the individual a threat to the establishment or to a system where they can be eliminated like a Kennedy, they will be eliminated like a Kennedy, unfortunately, or a King, or an X, simply for having a thought process that is capable of contaminating the whole, polluting the bunch, just like a rotten apple placed in the center of 100 apples within a bushel or basket or something or basin could trigger the period of time, it may take the other non-rotten apples to get rotten. Why? I don't fucking know. You know the science. You tell me. I'm just assuming based on intuition. My intuition tells me, yes, one can spoil the other. My utterance of something, even if I have no complete awareness of the thing that I'm uttering, could trigger something within someone else's mind that could be, in fact, the missing piece that they needed in order to complete a fully fledged theory in their mind. Isn't that how we all learn? Are we not all just jigsaw pieces, a half-made jigsaw pieces, amalgamation of chips and pieces of what other people have said? I'm learning to speak English as I speak English right now. And part of that learning process is me attempting to regurgitate my own thoughts, or, with sound, as I would, or as I had said them in my own mind. I'm attempting to utter them out, to voice them out using sound. And I have to do it through a very narrow tunnel of expression that is governed by a language that gives me the tools. So this language, I have to speak English, first of all, and in order to connect with you, and I have this, I have this tool sets of words that I have to pull, and out of that, my memory also borrowing from phrases that I heard people say. Even the way I say heard is a learned thing. That's not innately me to say heard. I'm fucking Nigerian. I don't even know what that means, but nonetheless, at least I can say had. But what is heard? That's me trying to communicate, not trying to impress you, not trying to be like you, just trying to say something in the way at which your own ear will receive it. Why? Because that's a familiar tone. That's a familiar sound. Anywhere in this country, United States of America, that a citizen thinks, not even say, that thinking is already broadcasted. No, everybody knows that now. So we know this is a fact, that every single human being in the United States of America that's carrying a phone knows that their data, their feed, let me be clear without dramatic, their daily feed, especially the shorts that we consume on a daily, just as I'm being recorded right now, even before posting this thing, and just like I will be regulated through the posting process, meaning that there is a discerning screen that is a veil that is invisible, and it's not a business of the public, therefore it's not discussed with the public, for it does not need the public's permission. And it can and will be sold to the public as a form of privacy, in fact, at the end of the day. But we all know that the CIA's, we know that YouTube has a larger database than the CIA, and we know that YouTube and Google are all friends with the CIA, and we know that our content, whatever we post, goes through screening and these determinisms that often lead to people's content staying and or becoming relevant, quote unquote, and or showing up more in the algorithm, which is all that relevance simply means. We know that all of those determinants go through a scrimmage or a screening process that are oftentimes, again, not transparent, okay? And some of these things have something to do with determining the kind of conversation that gets to be heard. So you, as the masters, what they call the gods, have set themselves up in a pantheon, right? An order of similar faces, a community of them, where they actually get to select what birds get to sing, right? And then they bring that to surface. It's interesting. And then They know each and individual member of the community. They know everyone's hate. Like, you know what my passions and desires and weaknesses and source of shame, guilt, inferiority complex, emasculinity, gay tendencies. You know everything about my inner thoughts. So what can I hide from you? Nothing. Do you understand? I can shit in front of you. I can even eat my own shit in front of you. Do you not know that I'm crazy? And if you know that I'm crazy, why would you be surprised again? Do you understand? You know every fucking thing about me. I drank my piss in front of you. I did eat my shit in front of you as a child. I ate my own shit. Fuck you. All you motherfuckers. Fuck all of you. I just said that just to shut all the motherfuckers that think that you're better than, fuck you. We are shit. Like Mike Tyson said, we ain't shit. We just, what the fuck are you, motherfucker? A memory, a thought at best. You know what I'm saying? If you're even blessed, you get to be a thought. Like the what do you call them? The Plato or Aristotle, any great thinker of the past that have left a legacy of thinking which has served in their favor as a seed planted that gets to germinate this massive babur tree that we see today. And oftentimes people walk past the tree and wonder who planted it. The thought maker planted it. He who or she who had the initial thought and thought to bury it in another's mind, and then that thing gets to, like a wildfire or virus, eats up the consciousness of the being until it takes root in that. Even when the being is slain down, that thought still regerminates in another and another and another, therefore becoming like this copied data that can't be deleted, right? So that is what the goal of every fucking man is really. If I want to make a film or tell a story, or if I meet someone randomly at a cave somewhere and we all just had a moment and we lived and died there, no one knows of us again until, a few thousands of years later, when someone unearthed the debris of that cave and began studying the archaeology of the fragments of the bones that are found there some several thousands of years after us, and then begin to piece our story together. And then they say, oh, those people had a warmed moment right before the cave caved in on them, right? They had a campfire and they were there for several X number of whatever, maybe by whatever pieces they're able to pull together, and they're able to remember a moment or time or put some kind of identity to these individuals that shared a moment right before their demise some several thousands of years ago. At best, human beings, we know that our physical biology does not last. There's no such thing as an indestructible man. The only thing that a man can actually possess that can be something of value is just a fucking thought. Beyond that, a man is a pig. A man is a beast. A man is just another fucking animal with all the appetites, desires of another fucking animal. And I cannot deny the fact that even as I get older and even as my fucking flesh gets weaker, I still have certain appetites. And the idea that just because I mastered them, I shouldn't even look at it or think about it. That's crazy. That's I don't care how long or how much work Elon Musk does. If he can't fuck, at the end of the day, you just want to breathe, drink water, eat, find a tree, or build a fucking house, shit, and fuck, man. We're very simple. I think our primordial needs are very basic. They're very fundamental. They're not complicated. It doesn't take a full fucking fridge to feed a bean. It just takes some very basic, simple things, you know. But nonetheless, getting back to my primary point, the reason why I even hopped on here, I don't think I'm living the same reality as the rest of the world, personally. I know that we all have this we live in this multiplicity of multiverses or whatever, and all our realities are, but I definitely can admit that my reality isn't the same. Sometimes I feel like I'm so backward. Sometimes I feel like I'm 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 displaced, you know, and that's the best way to put it, and absolutely confused, you know. I used to be a lot more self-assured, a lot more self-confident as a youth, but the older I've gotten, and with very little substance, you know, at hand, I've come to a conclusion that all of my confidence, all of my self-belief, you know, all of the things that I believed about myself have sort of rotten away with time, because I haven't bared the fruits, if you will, using biblical language to show for what it is that I claim I know. For in life, in reality, the world that we found ourselves, I'm born in a time when it is absolutely irrelevant what you know if you cannot prove it by what you have. Do you understand what I'm saying? For in my reality, in my timeline, knowing is essentially synonymous with having. To have is to know. If you don't have, you don't know. Period. You don't know. For if you know, why will you not have? So, with that said, is, you know, I don't really, I a man can have a talk with, a man doesn't even really need to invite anyone to his motherfucking podcast, to be very honest with you. All this shit these motherfuckers come and talk about on podcasts is just shit you already motherfucking know. That's why you even sort the motherfucker out to have a podcast conversation, expecting them to say shit you want them to say. Oftentimes, you know their story, you know their narrative. You've heard these stories over and over and over again. Or you might have heard that some scientist said physics is over, physics will end. And then the sensationalism of that title triggers you into inviting him to your podcast to say, tell me about this idea. Well, motherfucker, I told you already, the title sums it up. I can now sit with a fucking camera in front of me and ponder upon that title, because the title already sums up what the man is saying. What else do I gotta hear this motherfucker say? Oh God. Sometimes I'm so black. You know what that means? That means so impatient. Man, we're fucked, bro. We're fucked. You know what programming is? When you know you're fucked and you can't escape your fuckery. Oh shit. Oh man. It's programming is a kind of a wild thing to describe, right? It is the act of, okay, let me try to describe it. You feel as a being, right? Because you are a being. Because you are a being. You feel there's something wrong. I sense it, I feel it. It's intuitive. It's coming from my belly, as they say. It's coming from the depths of me. It's coming from my gut. I'm having a gut feeling that something isn't right. I just feel it. Like a detector, like a thing, like a radar detect, like something just detecting feeling, like a feeling. You know, you just have a sense that something is off. Now, ask any human being that is black on the planet Earth, right? They'll tell you, I know, I feel something is not equal. It's not balanced. Something feels broken, disconnected. There's a disconnect. It's almost like if the world is an instrument, and it's been trying to play music, right? It doesn't take a genius to be born into the world to go, that sound doesn't sound so good. That music, it's just something about it. It doesn't take that. It doesn't take. Everybody knows what is wrong. Everybody knows that there is something wrong. It's just that many of us, because of where we are standing, the positions that we occupy in this world, the positions, it's just like many football players, many players on a field. Everybody is on the field. Each of us, one is left, right, middle, center, forward, backward, all of that. We're all scattered around the world and within our nation states and all our enclaved localities, you know, and then we're not only physically displaced, we are mentally even more defragmented, meaning our minds go even deeper into these shilohs of ideas and thoughts, and oftentimes many of us get so trapped in our thoughts that it becomes literally the death of man. Men come into this realm, forget all the physicalities, forget all the physical aesthetics. For a man can look like the most muscular, most, you know, whatever human being just because he's well gymmed and all of that. But that does not mean that that man is courageous. That is not a showcase of courage just because a man has a physical whatever. It may have some correlation with his mental altitude, his ability to, you know, his stick-to-itiveness as far as ability to endure pain and mental capacity to stay in a thing and to see it through, etc. But that does not necessarily mean that that man is one that will be fearless before battle and or that he is a Marine. Do you understand what I'm saying? So similarly, these things can be so fucking deceiving. We all live in this defragmented world with defragmented sub ideas, and then sub ideas. Just like we have colonies, and we have colonies, just like we have colonies, and then we have colonies that are supposed to be tethered to an actual empire, right? So you have the premium ideas, and then you have certain localities that are still functioning on a old version of an idea, which is no different than operating on an old version of software. An idea, essentially, realms are born out of ideas. The great philosophers that gave birth to, why is it that when we talk about ancient Greece and we talk about ancient Rome, we go back to the assembly of gods or philosophers, thinkers that literally birthed the culture and maintained it with what? Thoughts, discourse, ideas, democracy. All of these things were a result of this this smashing of thoughts and ideas together in order to birth greater ideas out of a pre-existing idea that might have eroded the mind of the locals for so long, and people have been literally born, and they feel it. They know something is wrong. They know that I'm a fucking peasant in this society and motherfuckers is eating and I'm not. For instance, they know I'm a slave. They feel it. They may not have the language, the tools you need in order to be able to even argue. In order to, what is an argument? Why do you have lawyers going into fucking courtroom and having to state a case to be able to think logically, and to take these ideas and place them down in a way in which you can use to argue a point? Do you understand? We don't get down. For if I'm trapped in a society where I lack the language, one, and then I lack the accent. Do you understand the kind of barrier? Guy, you never even finish. You need to learn the language, and then you need to learn the language and to say it the way they say before they can hear you. If you cannot do that, can you see how long it will take somebody that can be in a jungle in Africa who sees exactly the things that you see here? From their paradigm, nothing is exactly the same. For every angle is slightly different. The arrangement of the pixels will be rearranged to each observer's eye, essentially. So there's no such thing as exactly the same sunset being observed by whatever multiplicity of people or persons observing the exact same sunset. However, it's enough data there for us to be able to piece together a kind of what do you call it? To create to project that world, or to project that world into reality using the fractals of the imagery, fractals of pixels that are collected from each of the observer's eye, and then somehow, boom, we able to recreate this virtual reality out of what they've captured. Point being, we can all. This is why it's not difficult to have a gathering of Africans and hear people complaining about all of the ills and troubles and pains, and every African is a master at telling you the pain point. This is the big beginning process of any and the designing or engineering an application, right? Is through the design process. You need to identify through empathy, all of that. You need to identify the user's pain point. Every African is a master at detecting and identifying pain points. They will tell you exactly what's wrong in their community. They tell you exactly what's wrong with their government. They tell you, but they don't really necessarily, they may not necessarily have the language to articulate it. They may not necessarily know how to put it for you to understand but they know that something isn't right. It's unbelievable. Our thoughts are not outside of, our thoughts radiate. Our thoughts radiate, and they broadcast, and social media and digital content is curated along the line of each individual. In fact, do you know that without understanding, that means that government can literally target each child and pump through social media? You can teach anybody anything. You just have to keep recommending the right things enough until if they can't have a choice but to watch what you keep putting in their face, like, you just got to keep doing that long enough. Eventually someone was going to click on something, and when they click, They open the gateway to a rabbit hole. It triggers one thought, and another thought, another thought, another thought, and there they go down that rabbit hole. You can curate a whole university through YouTube by the kind of content that you algorithmically feed an individual who you have already assessed, diagnosed. You know their age. You know that they have a propensity to drop out of high school, perhaps because of their family dynamic, maybe single mother household, for instance. You know their interests, you know their passions, their weaknesses, you know what amount of pornography they watch, you know, hell, the cameras, the phones are constantly listening to us. You know his emotional state. You know, you can rank this individual on a metrics. You can create literally a templated metrics, right, that you use to rank every individual based on capacity, emotional strength, resilience, athleticism, self-control, whatever it is. You can, you know, is it work ethic? Are they lazy? Are they a hustler? Do they make money? Do they spend? What is their spending habits? How many seconds do they spend? You can scientifically map an individual down to every breath, everything they think, everything they say, and definitely everything they do, just with a cell phone in this modern age. That's fucking crazy. If a human being knows the amount of trust that we literally release by engaging, that is to say that we all have lost fucking self-control. Don't you judge me because I go online and I look for fucking pornography to watch. Bitch, you're addicted to your phone the same way I'm addicted to them fat asses. What the fuck is the difference? You telling me that you're so addicted to your phone that you understand that you are a slave to it, that that your mind, you understand that when you're holding your phone, you're holding your brain, and that this brain, you have given access to all these people to stick their dicks in your brain and come inside to give you all the information. Bitch, what are you talking about? I'm saying, man, phonography is the fucking new addiction, not pornography, bitch. It's phonography, bitch. We're addicted to our phones. And this phone is a gateway to our brain. And I'm saying that there is this, I learned this word the other day. Not that I learned the other day, but I learned this guy use it so many times I have to use it too, in honor of him. It's a fucking tapestry. We are stupid fucking rats out here, man. Wheeling it out in the motherfucking hamster wheel. I log on fucking TikTok and I think I'm a stranger. How am I fucking stranger, bitch? There is no social media you can log into online today where you are a stranger and you think that, oh, I'm new to this. I just came here. I saw this. Or I came back the next day and I saw this. Bitch, you ain't new. We knew what you watched last year, last week, last month, yesterday. You might have forgotten. Do you understand? But that's what the fuck the AI is, right? The funny thing about life is that the thing that we are, I think the worst thing that we're already afraid of has already happened. And unfortunately, oh shit. Unfortunately, the only way to, oh my God, the only way to survive through it is to just embrace it. Fuck it. Yeah. But it has already happened. The worst imaginations. The reason why why did we feed the imaginations out there in the ether? Why did we keep creating sci-fi fucking films? projecting, if we know and we already have the science that says that we create our reality, we are what we think, if we already know that, right? Why would we project and construct and continue to feed the realm the specific images of what the end will be or what the future will be, so-called future will be? And oftentimes it is full of this 80 Orwellian 84 like scenario where our mentality is essentially hijacked. Our mentality is hijacked. But the thing that these young men kept saying is the stuff about delusions about our choices. You motherfuckers think you're free because your fucking country's slogan has freedom at the base or as a subtext. What the fuck does freedom gotta do? When did freedom become a matter of a brand? So you mean to tell me Nigeria can wake up today and just start branding itself as the wealthiest motherfucking country, even though it's practically the poorest? Because what is the freedom? Is freedom the illusion that I'm free, or is freedom the transparency to tell me the truth about what I am? And then see how I behave in respective of the truth. Will I still be subservient? Will I still be a collaborator, a friend? Why does freedom have to involve concealing, withholding information? This idea of secrecy. Why do we have to live in a state or states of secrecy? Why do we have to live in a state of not knowing or feeling as though there is some information being withheld from us, which is the premise of civilization on earth, if you really want to go back, right? Now, forgive my confidence is really ignorance, to be very honest with you, because the more I recall and the more I take responsibility, the less cocky I get. So my ignorance is sometimes, my confidence is sometimes out of this delusional, again, this illusionary states that we meandered through, even in short moments as the now. You still find that you can't find a anchor in the fucking now, like a permanent you. The you that you perceive self to be is such a rapid state of motion that I can't even be the same guy while making one statement and remain the guy at the end of the statement. Because at the end of the statement, if I have not learned from that, who is to say, who is to dictate the gestation of your evolution? How long it takes you to hear a thing, to digest it, to apply it, or to embody it, or to even dare to claim it as part of the you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where it isn't an imposter syndrome, as they say. I don't know. And don't think that I talk fucking randomly, because that is exactly how your mind works. Your mind is scattered, is fucking random. All these attempt, you know what the funny thing about how AI is gonna roast the shit out of us when they're gonna look at us and say, you motherfuckers, you're acting like us. If anything, we should be freer than AI, right? Imagine if I have a device that can now be my knowledge base, and I no longer have to be like, I no longer have to hold all of this information within me. I don't have to pretend to be a fucking doctor anymore. Bitch, there's AI. I don't need you, one doctor. The AI is all the doctors that ever lived. What the fuck? Wow. Do you see how rapidly a human identity becomes fucking eradicated? Can you see the balls literally sagging on the doctor? Can you see an ego being dismantled, almost like a scene from a fucking Dead or Alive Sub-Zero fighting one of them? annihilating KO. Can you see an ego being annihilated that way by literally someone zapping? They didn't just take your job. Bro, they took your generations. They took your profession. It leaves you, when you be like, my daddy was a carpenter. You know what I'm saying? And his daddy was a carpenter before him. And his daddy was a carpenter. And his daddy was a carpenter before him. That's why they call us the Smiths, you see? Because all we do. Oh, shit. Or metal worker, you know what I mean? Imagine that. And then all of a sudden, one day, bro, we need to start setting up fucking mental illness therapy places to cope with AI. Niggas have not even really let that shit settled. If white people haven't even gotten a hold of AI yet, it has not really sunk to the underworld. Niggas have not really woken up to this shit. Because I think by the time we wake up to AI, I think we're still stuck for black people, we're still stuck in slave trauma. Like, that shit affected a whole race. Some people are still trapped in 9/11 trauma. Like, trauma doesn't just go by easily. Motherfuckers live and die in trauma. What the fuck are you talking about? Some people are still stuck on the recent trauma, the COVID trauma, right? AI trauma, the trauma of somebody taking your whole generation's identity. No be job. You see that guy, they come off from that office, they tell you, say, I be dentist. My father be dentist. Mama, dentist. Everybody not dentist. Or that actress like Drew Barrymore. How many fucking 5 generation of actors? Bitch, as far as I know, I'm a star. I can't even remember any motherfucker in my family. They ain't been a star until now. Because now we got fucking AI acting. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm an artist. Generation fucking artist. We are innate artisans. Why? We need not to think about it. We just make art. Like, this shit just flows out of us. We even gotta go to school for this shit, right? Wrong. AI now can just create colors. Motherfucker can just invent things. The thing say now only how many colors they primary this thing. Fuck primary colors. AI is coming up with all kinds of things. Waiting you go carry tell them. AI, I beg, you're doing too much. No. We have already signed up for maximum, more and more forever. No be so. If we have not all signed up for more, show me the petition where we are signing to stop fucking. I know you won't see many people of my kind on that list, because me, I won't sign it. Nobody wants to, even without a dick. Okay? Even if I don't get fucking, even if it's just to see, even not to imagine them, to think them, even if I don't lick, chop, scratch the thing, smack, nothing, I don't agree, my nigga. I will not sign that shit. I will never sign that motherfucker. So if people are not willing to stop fucking, that's the thing that I'm saying, right? I've resolved the whole world to just fuckery, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's no greater philosophy than sex. Get the fuck out of here. There is no greater philosophy. That is the driving even God cannot come close to sex. Guess what? That's why the Ankh, the gateway, the entry and exit. Come on, man. Isn't that why we attribute the whole God to feminine, divine, and all of that? Oh my God, why we fucking? Sex is the most magnetizing, most enigmatic, that is the most magnetic thing on the fucking planet Earth. That is the thing that literally keeps everything. If you're speaking of currency, that is that is the gold dust. That is the purest of all fucking currency, is ass. And then I read a theory on a serious note. that says that, or someone says, I didn't read that. Let me rephrase that. It just sounds better saying I read it, right? I saw a YouTube short. Talk about I read this shit. Like I spent 3 hours on some science journal beating my fucking brain trying to understand this shit. No, I did not. I probably would have fed it through AI and describe it like a fifth grader. Isn't that what we do now? Nobody got time for shit. We are literally, we're gonna masturbate ourselves out of fucking existence because we ain't got the balls to tell our wife, honey, I wanna go fuck a fat ass this weekend. Or, you know what? How about I fucking trade you? You go get you a big dick. I'll go get me a fat ass. Everybody's happy. Don't give me your details. I'm not gonna give you mine. I forgive you. You forgive me. I love you. You love me. Moving on. And I'm just saying, if I really love and we're really in love, there's nothing hidden. My inner thought, desire, what I fantasize about a white girl while I'm on you, or you fantasize about a white guy, bitch, is that not all supposed to be transparent so that I know that, listen, I'm with this girl, right? I know that the matrix, or the metric, I don't even know how to say it, the matrix has her glued to me because, first of all, her culture, family, community has sort of pushed her almost by the, if you could say, if I could use the analogy of a wind, I can use the analogy of an object floating at sea, and a part of the water that has a drainage, for instance, and or if I say sea, a part of the water that has a indentation, say in the ground, that resolves to a kind of a funneling of the water going to the pit. Naturally, that object on the water, that is, say, a floating plastic bottle or one that is half full, would gravitate towards that funneled area. I don't know physics, bro. I ain't no motherfucking scientist, but I can tell you this shit is common fucking sense. And that's what I think of intelligence. Intelligence is common sense. Like fucking. Like no one had to really train you on how to fuck. If you are straight, the first day you saw vagina and a woman, when you were of age, you know what that means, when you are of age. As Adam observed his wife when he was of age, he needed no motherfucking Kama Sutra or sex manual or Playboy magazine or some kind of a how-to guide to get up in that ass, or a YouTube video or whatever, Pornhub video. No, it's built into the seed. If I find myself emanated, if I find myself as an emanation, which I am in this case, I'm an emanation bound within a biological body. This is my leaf, if you will, right? So consciousness then flowing through this leaf, this instrument being, if I find myself as any emanation, right? There is no barrier, there is no boundary beyond that which man set for man's self. There isn't. It's wild because yeah, I think I lost my train of thought.